Hello and welcome back to another amazing Microsoft Excel video for data analytics. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use three of the count functions in Microsoft Excel. I'm talking count, I'm talking count blank, and I'm talking counter in Microsoft Excel. And I'm going to be showing you exactly how to use these functions in your work as data professionals. And so if you are ready, let's jump right in.
It's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing now. It's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe.
Okay, so what is a count function? Alright, so we are starting off with a count function. We've already seen how the count function works, but now we are going a lot into the various aspects as well. So what is a count function? Now the count function, alright, in Microsoft Excel or count in particular returns results of count the number of numerics in a particular column. Alright, and so when there are numeric values in a particular column, when we use a count function, we are going to get the result of the number of numeric values in that particular column. All right, now the word underline is numeric values. Okay, and so count works with numeric values. It doesn't work with string values. All right, if I have a column like this, all right, brand names, we have Costco, Peloton, all of that, I can't use count to count the number of items in this particular column. All right, I can't use a count to count the number of items in this particular column. Now if I'm to come right here, I can't count the number of items right in this particular column as well.
Hello, I'm Meshak here, and still in the course of the video, just wanted to take a minute and to let you know that if you're a small business owner or someone trying to break into data analytics, hey, you should know that I can help you move faster without confusion. Over here, I offer one-on-one data analytics coaching where I teach you podcast skills in Power BI, SQL, Excel, Python, alright, and business insights tailored to your goals. Whether it's for improving decisions or landing a role, you are at the right place. I also need you to know that I've also created a Power BI beginner ebook that breaks everything down step by step, no jargon, no overwhelming. And so if you are ready to actually understand data and use it with confidence, I'll ask you to check the links right below. I've attached it to my video. Alright, and you can see, so this is my one-on-one coaching where you can book a coaching session with me and you can get to ask me questions directly and I can help you to solve any problem that you are looking to solve when it comes to data analytics. You can also find my ebook here, right? And so if there is something that you like, you can simply go in and then you can purchase it, and it's quite affordable, so you can just go in and purchase it, and trust me that you are going to get the value that you are looking for as you buy this book. All right, so without much ado, I digress. Let's move back to the video.
All right, and the reason is simply because the count function on its own does not count string values. Excuse me. All right, the count function does not count string values. All right, and so in this particular column where we have geography, let's say we want to count the number of items in this particular column. Now, like I said, count does not sum, it does not add. No, where it does not also find the average, it only gives you the result of the number of items that are in the column. All right, and so in this particular column we have 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, 4 items, 5 items, all the way to this particular item, and the number of the number for this particular item, excuse me. All right, and so if I'm to come right here, let's say we want to find the number of items. All right, how many items are there in that particular column for geography? All right, so the geographical column, how many items are in there? Are they up to 20? Are they 25? Is it less than 20? And all of that. All right, and so to find that, if you are to use a count, like I said, because the count doesn't work for string values, if you use a count over here in this particular column, what is going to happen is that you are going to get 0. All right, it's returning to us 0. Meanwhile, we can obviously see that there are items in this particular column. All right, there are items in this particular column. All right, so why is it showing us that the result for this is 0? That is because we can't use the count for such values, for string values. All right, but let's come right here where we have numerics. Okay, and let me now use the count. Now if I'm to use a count for a column like this where we have numeric or integers or total or currencies, all right, because they are integers and they are numerics and they are currencies, okay, which are numbers, we realize that it's able to count the items in there and return the right number of items. So it's telling us that there are actually 16 items in this particular um, column. All right, so there are 16 items in this particular column. Another thing I need you to keep in mind is that count does not include blank cells. All right, so count is not going to count these cells. All right, it's not going to count the cells because there's nothing in there. All right, count will only work where there are integer numeric items in a particular cell. So it's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skipping this, going to 7, 8, skipping this, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 16, and it's returning 16 items in that particular column. All right, okay, so Meshach, you've indicated how the count works. That doesn't work with strings and blanks. So therefore, in this regard, how are we going to count these particular items over here? Because we should be able to count these particular items over here. Maybe our manager wants to know the number of items that brands names that has come in our data set. So how do we count columns like this? Now with that, we are going to be using a function called counter. All right, so we have count, we have counter. All right, so it is the counter that we use to count columns like this, which has string values in them. All right, so these columns have string values in them. They are generic values. All right, they are general values, they are string values, they are words. All right, and so for that we use counter, all right, to count those items. And for that, the formula is simply going to be equal to, all right, don't forget it's a function, so we use the equal to, and we are going to use counter. So this is what we are looking for. We use counter, all right, to count columns like this. So I'm going to say counter, all right, and now if I'm to come right up here, all right, so let me just, I'll do for this, but I'll go and do for another one. So if you have to do this and close this, now you see we're having 16. So now let me come here where we use the count and give us 0, whereas we have values in them. All right, and so in view of this, if I'm to use the counter right over here, because they are string values, if you use a counter, you should be able to count the number of items in here, all right, and give you the result, saying that, all right, so there are actually 16 items in that particular column. Instead of using count, which gave us something wrong at 0, the counter is able to count the number of string values or words or statements, all right, that are found in a particular column. All right, and so this is how you can use the count and then the counter. Now another thing that you need to keep in mind is that even though we were counting, we realized that there were still some blank spaces. All right, and now let's assume that after a project, your manager comes and informs you, says, Meshach, so after everything, I realized that there are still some, maybe we have some we have something here, let's say apple, again here, we have tiger nut, excuse me, so we have tiger nut, right? I don't know if that is the exact spelling, right? And let's say we have, so these ones are filled, but I realize that, okay, so all of these are filled, but we still have some blank spaces or blank cells, all right? So we want to find out the number of blank cells, all right, so that we can see what we can do with those ones, and then identify if there are so many blank cells. That is going to tell us that, all right, so there are actually cells under the price page here which do not have prices attached to the brands in those particular cells column, all right, in that particular column. All right, so there are cells under price, all right, which are empty. So those particular empty cells, we need to fill those cells, all right, with the right price per share. All right, but I want to know how many empty cells are actually in there, so that we know how to go about this. All right, and so in view of this, so manager comes and informs you, so we want to know the number of empty cells that are in that particular column, all right, or in that particular data set. All right, now this particular formula works with both numbers and then string items as well. All right, so you can use that for numerics and you can use that for strings as well. It really doesn't matter. All right, and so for this, what we are going to be using is a formula called count blank. All right, because we are looking at the blank cells. All right, so we are going to be using the count blank equal to, and now we can select all of this, close this, and you are going to realize that it's given us 2. So we have this and this being the empty cells. All right, so we have this one empty cell and we have another empty cell. Now if you are to use that for the string values as well, we are going to find that it's giving us the exact same thing. All right, so count blank, all right, like so, and I'm just going to go right up, select all of this, right, like this. All right, so now that we don't have any blanks in there, all right, we don't have any blanks in there, so let's use this particular one right here. All right, so I'm going to say count blank, just so I can show you that we can use it for both the string and the numeric values. All right, that's what I want to show you, and you can see that we have two. All right, so the count blank works with numerics columns and then string columns. The count works with numeric columns, and then the counter works with string column. All right, so these are the three various ways by which you can use the count functions, where we have count, counter, and then count blanks in Microsoft Excel, all right, to derive certain information that we are actually looking for. And so without much ado, I will bring this video right to an end right here. And like I always say, if you found this video helpful, be sure to comment it down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, all right, so that this video reaches far people, all right. And then also be sure to subscribe, which is the most important thing, all right, so that you can join the Nakama, of course, so that when I upload any new video on Microsoft Excel, SQL, Power BI, or any of the data analytics tools, you are going to be among the first to be notified. So without much ado, I'll catch you in the next one. Like I always say, do take care of yourself, all right. Stay safe. Bye.
Whatever you take, baby, if that's what you like, I'll do it.